Welcome to the Bakersfield City Council meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by the local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 10 a.m., and the following Wednesday at 7 p.m. You can download the agenda for this meeting at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, the Honorable Mayor Karen K. Go.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to call to order the 5:15 City Council meeting of September 19th, 2018. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Go.
Here.
Vice Mayor Smith.
I am here.
Councilmember Rivera. Here. Councilmember Gonzalez. Councilmember Weir.
Here.
Councilmember Freeman.
Here.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Parlier.
Thank you. Well, welcome. It's so great to see families of our honorees here today and so many friends to celebrate a wonderful day with us. So welcome to everyone. At this time, we're going to have Pastor Joshua Kirstein, pastor of Disciples Church, offering the invocation. Pastor, you have an amazing heritage in your church. So after gold was discovered, I think we had an influx of visitors to our community. So 1889, the First Baptist Church of Bakersfield was formed and located at the corner of I and Wall Street, where George Weir's Opera House was. And what a long heritage. Congratulations on your beautiful new sanctuary, and we're honored to have you here today. Following the invocation, we have the honor of having with us Dick Taylor, who is going to lead us in the pledge. Dick is currently the director of the Kern County Veteran Services Department for a few more days. He's going to be retiring and doing some other things, but Dick, thank you so much for your service in the Marine Corps. What a wonderful legacy that has been, and just serving with the Devil Pups program. You've done some wonderful things with our young people, and I know your new career coming up in retirement as a docent with the Tejon Ranch Conservancy. Something exciting that happened yesterday. We debuted a new Keep Bakersfield Beautiful sign outside for Adopt a Street program, and it was Dick and his wife Cheryl whose names were put up there on the very first sign. They've been cleaning up Truxton Avenue since 2012, so thank you so much. At this time, Pastor Joshua, would you come up, and would you all please stand now for the invocation?
Good evening, Mayor Go, honorable council members. Let us pray. Almighty God, Father of lights, King of glory, in the all-important phrase that we fly above our city's seal in these prestigious quarters proclaims, "In God we trust." Oh, how I pray it would be so. Despite the challenges we face as a community, that our hope and trust would not be in our circumstances, but ultimately our hope would be in you. Even with the resources you so generously entrust to us, I pray that our hope and our trust would not be in our wealth or our wisdom, but ultimately in you. To help keep our eyes on you each step of the way, I echo the humble prayer of King David found in 1 Chronicles 29:13 through 17. O our God, we thank you and praise your glorious name, but who am I and who are my people that we could give anything to you? Everything we have comes from you, and we give you only what you have given us. We are here only for a moment, visitors and strangers in the land of our ancestors before us. Our days on earth are like a shadow, gone so soon without a trace. O Lord our God, even these materials we've gathered to build a temple to honor your holy name comes from you. It all belongs to you. I know, my God, that you examine our hearts and rejoice when you find integrity there. Father of heaven, your living word teaches us everything we see, everything we can't see comes from you. It belongs to you. It exists for your eternal glory. So therefore, I stand before you today on behalf of the residents and leaders of the city of Bakersfield, California, humbled that you have entrusted us with so much to steward for your glory and our good and the good of those that you would put within our reach. My prayer for us today are the very words of the Apostle Paul as he charged Timothy in 1 Timothy 6, 17 and 18. Teach those who are rich in the world not to be proud, not to trust in their money, which is so unreliable. Their trust should be in God, who richly gives us all that we need for our enjoyment. Tell them to use their money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those in need, always being ready to share with others. In light of these beautiful exhortations found in your holy word, I ask you to give our Bakersfield City Council the wisdom to lead us with humility, the courage to lead us with integrity, and the compassion to lead us with generosity. And most of all, may the life-changing good news of Jesus Christ be the ultimate source of hope, joy, and power for the people of this great city. Because of the mercy of Jesus, who stood in my place and bought me new life, I pray these things as his humble servant, and close with the eternal proclamation that yours, O God, is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Mr. Taylor?
Mayor Go and honorable council members, I do want to thank you for the opportunity to lead us in this pledge, and what an honor it is to be your servant for the last few years, to serve as a County Veteran Service Officer for the nearly 47,000 veterans that call Kern County home, and many of them are in the audience with us today and also serving on the council. Very grateful. And my partner in trash pickup, my wife Cheryl, is in the back of the audience here somewhere. That's, I think, our next career, too. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, if you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag, the flag of the greatest nation on earth, these United States of America. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Thank you, Pastor. Here are a few guidelines to help our meeting run smoothly. We request that you turn off your phones. In keeping with the council policy, council members aren't allowed to send or receive electronic communications during the meeting. Please be courteous in the use of cameras and videos. Applause is allowed during the presentations portion of the meeting, but it isn't allowed during other portions of the meeting. For safety reasons and as a courtesy to others, we request that no signs be used in the council chambers. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Madam Clerk, please read the first item.
Under presentations, item A, a proclamation to Jennifer Henry, Executive Director of Links for Life, declaring Paint the Town Pink Month in Bakersfield during October 2018.
Well, it's always a joy to be together with the ladies in pink who care so much about our community. Unfortunately, by the time this presentation is over, someone else within 3 minutes will have been diagnosed with breast cancer. 1 in 8 women, 1 in 1,000 men. But it is because of this team from Links for Life that we are able in our community to support those who have been afflicted with this disease and also raise awareness so that we can have prevention in the future. So it is my honor, Jennifer Henry and team, to be able to proclaim the following. The mayor of the city of Bakersfield, California, has officially proclaimed October 2018 as Paint the Town Pink Month in our city in recognition of over 250,000 women in the United States that will be diagnosed with breast cancer and more than 40,000 women that will not survive the diagnosis each year. In recognition of the residents of Bakersfield that have fearlessly battled this terrible disease and survived, and in recognition of those who bravely lost the fight, In recognition of the unwavering support of family and friends offering sanctuary and encouragement to loved ones in the midst of treatment. In recognition of Links for Life and other organizations committed to increasing awareness and finding a cure for breast cancer. In recognition of the importance of raising public consciousness regarding breast cancer symptoms and the importance of regular self-examinations and yearly mammograms, in recognition of the importance of securing funding for research, and in recognition of the effort to unite our community through awareness and personal experiences by displaying the color pink during the month of October. It's signed Karen Go, Mayor of the City of Bakersfield. It's my honor, Jennifer Henry, to be able to present this to you and to your team, and to the president of Links for Life, Irma Cervantes. I think, are you going to be making the comments? Well, welcome
I
here.
am making comments.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Go, and thank you, Bakersfield City Council. We thank you for proclaiming October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I thank you on behalf of our Board of Directors, our volunteers, and our many community members affected by breast cancer. I know Mayor shared some statistics. Here's what we know. In the U.S., approximately just over 263,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and 1 in 1,000 men will also be diagnosed. In Kern County alone, approximately 444 will be diagnosed, and we will lose over 90. If diagnosed early, there is a 96% survival rate, which is why Links for Life exists, and which is why we hold many events throughout the year, and specifically in October, to raise awareness. And we invite you, the City Council, to join us at our kickoff event on September 30th at the park at Riverwalk. It's a short 5K. You can do it. Tie up your laces, preferably pink, and come and join us. And if you are unavailable that day but are out at a barbecue at home or with your family, you can sign up for our virtual walk and walk wherever you are, so no excuses not to join us. Visit linksforlife.org for more information. And again, we thank you very much for proclaiming October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you very much. Should we
Okay, fine.
Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Under presentations, item B, 2018 Excellence in Action Awards, Shining Team Achievement Recognition Award, and Extra Mile Award.
This is always a very special day where we get to recognize our city people who have worked so hard. We're so glad to have today Ms. Shayla Woods Collins and Brianna Carrier and our city manager, Ellen Tandy.
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor Go and members of the City Council. My name is Shayla Collins. I'm a Human Resource Analyst with the city, and this is Brianna Carrier. She's the Management Assistant. We serve as the administrators of the city's Employee Incentive Team. Today, we are pleased to present the city's 2018 Excellence in Action Program. Before introducing the winners, I'd like to recognize the efforts and contributions of the Employee Incentive Team. This team is essentially a volunteer group. Their time and participation in this process is greatly appreciated and deserving of individual recognition. Numerous nominations were submitted, which represent employees who have excelled in their jobs and provided notable service to the organization and to the community throughout this year. The winners represent multiple departments and diverse job categories. As each winner is introduced, our city manager, Mr. Tandy, will present the award to each employee. In the interest of time and the ability for each recipient to hear their name, I would ask that the audience please hold their applause until all the awards have been presented. The first award we have is David Berkshire. He's from the Executive Department. He's an audio-visual specialist in the Technology Services Division, and he's been employed with the city for 17 years. Next, from the Executive Department, we have Chris Gary. Chris is the assistant to the city manager, and he has been employed with the city for 4 years. From the Executive Department, we have Matthew Lewis. Matthew is a network systems analyst, and he has been employed with the city for 6 years. From the Finance Department, we have Kim Gearhart. Kim is a payroll technician, and she has been employed with the city for 18 years. From the Fire Department, we have William Williams. William is a fire captain, and he has been employed with the city for 23 years. Next, we have Allison Jelinas. She is from the Police Department. Allison is a community relations specialist, and she has been employed with the city for 3 years. From the Police Department, we also have Naomi Vidales. Naomi is a clerk typist, and she has been employed with the city for 3 years. From the Public Works Department, we have Jim Milton. Jim is a traffic signal technician in the General Services Division, and he has been employed with the city for 22 years. Next, we have from Recreation and Parks Department, Ezekiel Sanchez. Ezekiel is a laborer, and he has been employed with the city for 11 years. From the Water Resources Department, we have Miguel Chavez. Miguel is a hydrographic supervisor, and he has been employed with the city for 5 years. Also from the Water Resources Department, we have Daniel Talavera. Daniel is a maintenance craft worker 1, and he has been employed with the city for 11 years. We also had 2 recipients who were unable to attend this meeting tonight, Network Systems Engineer Mitchell Smith and Detective Daniel McClive. At this time, Brianna Carrier will present the team awards.
Thank you, Shayla. So the Star Award Shining Team Achievement Recognition commends and reinforces the need for all employees to collaborate and work in support of one another for the overall success of the city. This year's winner is the City Clerk's Office. So we'll call them up in order. Rayanne Coronado. Now Julie Dramakis. Chris Gary. Danielle Mabon. Jennifer Obert. Lorraine Reza. And also included, but, oh, okay, and Lisa Smith, there she is. And also included but not present is Alyssa Resendez. Great, and at this time, I'll pass the mic to City Manager Alan Tandy to introduce the Extra Mile Award.
I want to thank Shayla and Brianna and the entire employee incentive team for the work they did on this. It is not a pleasant duty because we have many more applications that are meritorious in nature than we have the ability to give awards, and so they have tough decisions to make. There's only one award. Everything to date is given by the incentive committee. There's only one award that is final decision by the city manager's office. And in this case, we have a group of employees who made the community safer by improving lighting levels throughout the city, converted almost 13,000 streetlights from a low efficiency to a high efficiency, longer life version, essentially obtained a $4.5 million public improvement without capital outlay by the city. The lights will be paid off through the energy savings realized over about 4 years, and from then on, the city will save $750,000 a year. So I challenge other employee groups to exceed this number for next year, and thank this group who pulled off the streetlight conversion. It's an excellent job.
And we'll go ahead and announce them. This team includes David Berkshire, Sean Kakal, Jeff Grimes, Georgina Lorenzi, recognized but not present, Peter Martin, Stuart Patson,
Did this get you promoted? No, you were promoted before. Congratulations.
Katie Reed, and Tom Webster. And also not here tonight, but recognize Olivia Diaz. So we would like to commend all of the winners and nominees on a job well done. Thank you for your time, and please join us in recognizing all of our recipients this evening.
Thank you so much. If you're a family of the recipients, would you wave? Put your hands up. Well, congratulations to all of you, too. And recipients, congratulations. Thank you for all that you do for our community. We're going to take a very brief recess to allow our recipients and their families to exit, and then we will reconvene very shortly.
Yeah, I would just like to say, too, I work with the city employees all the time, and I know that the city of Bakersfield does more with less, and as a council member, I really appreciate the effort that all the employees put forward. Thank you.
All right, we're reconvening now, and I want to also welcome a representative from Assemblyman Rudy Salas's office, Athena Skapaniskas. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here today. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Public statements.
At this time, we'll receive public statements. All statements are given a 3-minute time limit, 15 minutes per topic. If you have written comments that are longer than your verbal statements, please give those to our clerk, and she'll give copies to the council. Please avoid any behavior that's disruptive. We're very interested in all of your comments and interests, but due to the public notice requirement of the Brown Act, the council can't take action when an item isn't on the agenda. The council can, however, refer your matter to committee or request that staff contact you. If you're here to speak on hearing item 10A, now isn't the time to speak. You'll be given an opportunity later when that item is called in the meeting. Madam Clerk, next. Please call the first public speaker.
We have not received any speaker cards, Mayor.
Oh, okay, so we'll be moving on. Next item, please.
Under workshops, item A, we have the annual California Water Service Company update and rate case presentation.
Mr. Talia.
Good evening, Mayor Go, members of the council, Steve Telia, City Manager's Office. California Water Service Company's current franchise with the city of Bakersfield obligates them to come before the city council no less than once a year to provide a general update about the operations of their Bakersfield district and generally provide information in an update nature as they see fit. In addition, anytime that Cal Water is going through a rate cycle or a general rate case cycle, which happens every couple years, they are similarly obligated to come before the council and provide information about those filings and answer any questions that the council may have. So with that tonight, we have several representatives of California Water Service Company here, led by their Bakersfield District Manager, Mike Myers. They'll be speaking in just a moment and providing you a presentation, but it's always a good opportunity when they're here to provide a little context of the area of town, geographic area of town that they're actually going to be referring to primarily tonight. So the map that you have up before you is a map of the various water purveyors in the city of Bakersfield. And the California Water Service district area, the owned and operated system, is the dark green area that you see on your map. Not to confuse it with the city of Bakersfield system, which has an operational agreement with Cal Water Service Company. They'll be primarily focusing tonight on their district, which is represented in the dark green. I believe it touches a portion of, at least a portion of each one of the council wards, except for, I believe, Councilmember Freeman in Ward 5. So with that, I will call up Mike Myers and Kevin McCusker to provide the presentation.
In addition to these gentlemen, we also have people outside in the lobby, so if you have specific questions later, they're there to address your questions.
And staff will be here after the presentation to answer any staff-related questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Well, good evening, Mayor Go and council members. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. Again, I'm Mike Morris, District Manager for California Water Service here in Bakersfield. I'd like to take a second to introduce the folks with me tonight. As Steve mentioned, Kevin McCusker will be joining me on this presentation, and also here to help field questions, we have Greg Milliman. He's with our rates department, but he was also director, and all you folks I'm sure have met Greg at one point or another, helped us with a lot of different issues that have come up and helped us kind of solve problems. Good guy to have on the team. And then also tonight, I'd like to introduce you to the folks who haven't met him yet, is Jeff Folks. He's the Assistant District Manager, and as many of you have probably discovered, he's getting more and more visible within the community. So with that, I'm here to talk about our infrastructure improvement plan. But Steve did mention I don't have a formal part of an update for you as far as projects. Before I dive into this presentation, just want to update everybody on our TCP project, which is probably something we should be mentioning tonight as well. We are serving all of our customers in both the CBK, City of Bakersfield, and Cal Water system, water that meets all compliance. So that was a heck of a project. We still have several sites under construction, but I'm happy to say that we're pushing through, and I think it's estimated somewhere around end of November we should be wrapped up with all of those. So that was a heck of an undertaking. 170-something new vessels all over Bakersfield, affecting 57 well sites. Not an easy capital project to accomplish in such a short time frame. So I'm really proud of our team, working jointly with the City of Bakersfield team, and just coming out with a really successful project with that. So it's been a pleasure working with Art and Jason, primarily from that group. So we've happy to brag about that a little bit. Oops, I'm probably not. Do you have somebody technologically savvy here that can help me with this? Yeah. What do I do? Oh, just left click. Okay, gotcha. So just a brief history on us here. So we've been in Bakersfield since 1926. We actually just celebrated our birthday with several of you last year. Celebrated, it was actually 91 years, but 92 years here. We have service areas across California. We serve over 2 million customers through over 500,000 service connections. We have over 80 billion gallons. We produce over 80 billion gallons of water annually. More than 400,000 water quality tests a year our lab and team members perform. And we've got 6,500 miles of water main within our service areas. And if you can envision a water pipe that extends from Beijing, China, to New York City. That's how much water main we have. So, okay, this is right. So we've been part of the community since 1926. Here in Bakersfield, we have 147 local employees. That includes engineers and our operators and various other folks. With that, we have 1,660 years of combined professional experience, and with that, 175 professional certifications. And what I mean by professional certifications is you need to have water treatment licenses, distribution licenses, and we also have folks with wastewater treatment licenses. So a lot of education with our team here. I feel it just kind of separates us from most water companies. Again, we serve a population here of over 240,000 people, over 70,000 service connections. We've got over 940 miles of main just here in our Bakersfield system, 79 active wells, 53 storage tanks, and we operate 2 surface water treatment plants. And as Greg mentioned earlier, we also operate and maintain the city's water system. So this next slide, really important that we're here to support our fire department, making sure they have adequate flows. Really important for growing our businesses, growing our communities. We've got 5,543 hydrants just on the Bakersfield side, or on the Cal Water side. With the city of Bakersfield side, there's over 11,000 fire hydrants, so I'll just throw that out there. ISO ratings, we save millions in insurance costs for our customers. Also, we got a little tidbit, we met with one of the council members and felt it was important we kind of highlight this a little bit. So our ISO rating here in Bakersfield is 3, and that's composed of a score of 3 elements. That's 50% our fire department, that's 40% the water system, and that's 10% emergency services composes that. If we had a less than 3 rating, it would cost the customers here, and this is based on stats that we received from another valley city, but theoretically, it would cost our customers in Bakersfield about $180 a year per $100,000 in property value with that rating. So it saves millions of dollars a year. I want to say for a population the size of Bakersfield, if we were a 2 or lower, it would probably cost the folks here about $20 million a year. So maintaining that high level, that 3 rating, is really important. And of that, about $8 million represents the water part of that equation. Hopefully that explained that okay. But
I think we're 2 rating.
Pardon?
I think we're better than a 3. Is that correct, fire department? We are a class 2. So you're doing better than you thought.
All right, we're doing better than we thought. So I have those backwards in. 2's better than a 3, 3's not better than a 2. So
Correct.
that's why I said high. Okay, very good. Well, there you go. Saving money. But all this value coming at you for about 1/3 of a penny per gallon. So I like to brag about that a little bit too. So going on to our next slide. So the U.S. EPA, so this is the importance of our infrastructure investment here. That's the whole point of us being here. We're calling it our infrastructure improvement plan again, not a rate case. It's really what we do. 90% of that is infrastructure. That's what we're doing here. So USP, this is just some notes on why it's important to make sure we stay ahead and make sure we're maintaining that high ISO rating of 2. Is the U.S. EPA says it's going to cost about $660 billion nationwide to fix our failing drinking water infrastructure. Also, the American Society of Civil Engineer grades U.S. drinking water infrastructure. Actually, I just went on their website. It's actually a D rating, not much better than the D- as you see in the presentation, but it's something to be concerned about. And 1 in 4 Americans receives unsafe drinking water, according to the Natural Resources Defense Council. So, statewide, Cal Water, we invested over $628 million in the last 3-year rate cycle. That's more than any other water company in the state. And here in Bakersfield, in the last 3 years, we're investing more than $86 million in our water system. And what we're here to talk about tonight is we propose to invest an additional $87.9 million in this next 3-year rate cycle. So that'll be 2019, 20 and 21. So, Mayor Go, I'm going to ask you to give me the hook. I'm going to talk about some of our projects. If I'm going on a little long, just give me one of these and I can cut it short. But we've got a pretty long list of projects for all 3 years. I'm going to try to highlight some of these, but I probably wrote down too many, but I felt it was important to kind of show you what the bang you're getting for your buck, so to speak. So some of the projects I'd like to highlight I'm going to start off with our main replacement project. So we're going to be investing over 100,000 feet of main in the next 3 years. In 2019, we plan to install over 25,000 feet. In 2020, 33,000 feet. And in 2021, 42,000 feet. You're going to see a ramp up there because right now, our current replacement rate is at a 200-year replacement rate. That's what we're doing right now with our investment. And pipe doesn't last 200 years. We've figured that out. So what this is a really trying to understand, be really conscientious of the affordability aspect of what we're trying to do here, is kind of ease into where we kind of need to be. So at the end of this rate cycle, we should be right around 150-year replacement. So it's not where we need to be. There's a whole list of projects that have kind of kicking the can down the road, so to speak. We've got a whole list of projects that didn't meet our criteria for meeting that affordability that are very important, that need to be done, but they're going to have to wait till the next IIP cycle. So some of the highlight projects I just want to talk about is we have a section of main on Stockdale. This is part of the MRP again, between McDonald and Real Road. You're driving down, you'll see on the side of the road all these little patches. Those are from leaks. We're going to be replacing that with new main. A lot of customer interruptions, very unreliable. We're going to be fixing that. We have some other mains on Plants Road, some areas around H and Brundage. We have some areas, pretty much all over the whole BK system. But we also have a really a focused area in the College Heights area where we're planning on replacing about 36% of our proposed MRP is going to be in this one particular area. We've had some very large blowouts. From a risk management perspective, we really need to kind of ramp up our efforts in this one specific area. And that's around the area of, I believe it's, let's see, Washington Middle School, Noble, Panorama. You may have gotten some calls. I know Mr. Weir's received some calls. We've helped him out with some of that. And it's a serious situation. They have some Generation 1 AC mean out there that's just has been failing left and right. So we're trying to get that ramped up out there and replacing that as soon as possible. How am I doing with my list here? Doing okay? Staying with me? Okay. Some of the other things besides the main replacement is we have service replacements. We've never had a replacement program from that, but we've got areas in town where we have, I'm going to call it catastrophic service failures. We have lots of leaky services that need to be replaced. We keep fixing them. Now we have a program in place. We're starting small, but the idea is we're going to replace a chunk, 50 a year for the next 3 years. We have 2 new wells on the south part of town. We have several well improvements, pump and motor replacements. There's this be spread out. There's, 7, 8 of those be spread out over the next 3 years. We've got generator replacements. Whenever the power goes out, people don't want their water to go out. So this is really important. We've had several generators that fail when we try to start them during an emergency, and that's not what they're there for. So we'll be replacing those. These are generators that have been in service since the early 40s, and they're scheduled to be replaced in the next 3 years. Also have some new pressure tank replacements, several of those over the next 3 years. And then for our treatment plants, we've got some algal toxin studies. This is a very expensive treatment. So rather than dive in and spend the money on an expensive treatment process, we want to make sure that we're, number one, what is the risk? Number two, what is the best treatment if we determine that there is a risk that we need to respond to of treating. So we need to study that in detail because we have had some of this type of algae in Lake Isabella. So we have to be able to respond to that. And lately with our technology, we've been able to keep that at bay. There's some different acid feed systems at the Northwest plant. And then we also have, in 2021, some activated carbon. Those are for the vessels for existing treatment that we have, replacing that, but that's almost $1 million just to do that. Everything has a pretty good size price tag. So talking about that. So let's see. And then our flat to meter We have almost 4,600 flat-to-meters to convert in this next 3 years. We have about 11,500 that we need to replace before 2025 deadline. So that's something that's an urgency, but rather than get them all done, we're trying to spread that out to the last hour and just, again, trying to stabilize and control, keep the IIP and the rates affordable. And with that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Kevin McCusker. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Go, council members. Kevin McCusker, Cal Water Community Affairs, Interim Manager for General Rate Case Outreach. I'm just going to pick up where Mike left off and talk a little bit about what all of this means to our customer base here, as well as to talk about the process a little bit. So basically what we're talking about in the infrastructure improvement plan, unfortunately, does have a bill effect for customers. And we are keenly aware of trying to balance the infrastructure needs against the issue of affordability for our customer base here. So as proposed, as currently proposed, the infrastructure improvement plan would affect bills on a typical residential customer bill to the tune of about 8 cents a day beginning in 2020. So that's about $2.32 a month in 2020, and then additional increments in 21 and 22. So it's important to note that these are proposed, and the rates are not set by Cal Water. They're set by an independent commission, the Public Utilities Commission. It's part of a long process. You all are very familiar with the process. And it includes an independent watchdog agency, now called the Public Advocates Office, previously known as the Office of Ratepayer Advocates. They also will get involved. And another thing that I really want to highlight is, so the legislative mandate that creates the PAO uses some specific language that their mission is to get the lowest possible rate for service that is, remains consistent with reliable and safe service levels. And essentially, that's the goal of all parties involved. That's Cal Water's goal as well. So even though some of the parties involved in this process can be coming at it from potentially different angles, we're all working towards the same goal here. Other parties get involved. The city of Bakersfield has already filed for and been granted party status, and you've been involved in the past. And all of these various parties in this process get to weigh in and look at what the proposal is, what the cost of service is going to be as a result of those proposed investments, and come to the best possible solution that serves all the interests involved, maintaining reliable and safe infrastructure, as well as balancing that against customer affordability. I think it's also important to note that it's not a haggling maneuver. We're not at the farmer's market disputing the cost of a chili pepper, or we're not a baseball player who wants X in the contract and trying to raise his or her offer by coming in higher than anticipated. Everybody is genuinely coming in with the best possible estimate that they can come in with, and we try and work towards the best possible outcome. And that possible outcome, that best possible outcome that we all are looking for, is to maintain and improve our drinking water infrastructure while also preserving affordability for our customers. And with that, that's most of what we had to talk about. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Mike is here, and Jeff for operational stuff, and for more specifics and details on the rate-making process. We also have Greg Milliman from our rates department, our director of rates.
Thank you, Mr. McCusker. Councilmember Parlier.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to compliment Cal Water. Cal Water, since my term on the council, has really come a long way. Mike, you and your team, I think, have been a welcome addition. Your outreach efforts to the council, city staff, and the community, I think, have been exemplary. And I just want to thank you again. I know you have a big thing coming up in October as far as the community outreach at the fairgrounds. I think that's another perfect example of your outreach efforts. And I just want to thank you. Bye.
Anyone else? I want to echo the same thing. I see you out in the community all the time, so thank you very much for your support of our community in other ways, and thank you for the ongoing communication. Vice Mayor, do we have a motion?
Move to receive and file.
You have a motion? Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you very much. Anything we can do for you, any questions, anything, just please let us know. We'll be happy to get back to you, and I'll have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Consent calendar items 8A through 8Z for approval. At the request of staff, item 8G has been removed from the agenda. A staff memorandum has been received regarding item 8M, as in Mary, correcting the dollar amount increased for each contract.
Vice Mayor.
Move to approve consent calendar items 8A through Z, accepting G, and with the corrections to M.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Our next item is the public hearing. Before we continue the public hearing, I'll go over the presentation time policy. Each side is allowed 15 minutes. It's 15 minutes for all speakers, so it's important that you identify yourself and make your statements quickly so others may speak. We'll hear from those opposed to staff's recommendation, then we'll hear from those who'd like to speak in favor of staff's recommendation. If there's testimony on both sides, each side will be allowed a 5-minute rebuttal. There's a clock on the wall behind me, which indicates 15 minutes. Please step to the microphone, identify yourself. After 14 minutes, a yellow light will come on, and at the end of 15 minutes, a red light will flash, indicating your time is up. Quickly then end your statement. You may ask questions during your statement, but they won't be answered until the public hearing is closed. If you have written comments that are longer than your verbal statement, please give those to the clerk, and she'll provide copies to the council. Please be courteous to others who wish to speak. Unless there's approval by the majority of the city council, there's a strict 15-minute time limit for all those in favor or in opposition to staff's recommendation. So please be concise and avoid repeating the remarks of previous speakers. Madam Clerk, would you please read the public hearing item, and then we have Vice Mayor Smith. You need to recuse yourself.
I, Councilmember Bob Smith, will abstain from the following agenda item due to a conflict of interest. I have an interest in the adjacent property. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please read that item?
Public hearing to consider a resolution ordering the vacation of the 33-foot by 264-foot alley running east and west and bounded by 19th Street, R Street, 18th Street, and Q Street on Block 253.
Thank you. This matter was opened on September 5th and was continued to tonight. So, Mr. Fiddler, do you have comments?
Honorable Mayor and council members, as Mayor indicated, this vacation was opened on September 5th and it asked for a continuation until tonight. This project proposes, Sage Equities Real Estate proposes to construct a 53-unit apartment complex at 1818 Q Street. The vacation of the alley is to support that complex. As of tonight, the city has received no objections to this proposed vacation, and staff recommends approval of this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Fiddler. How many people would like to speak in opposition to staff's recommendation? Any in favor? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and return it to council for comment and action. Councilmember Weir.
I move approval of this item.
You have a motion. Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved with Councilmember Smith abstaining.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
Council and Mayor statements.
Vice Mayor.
I just want to congratulate staff and the council. We approved the 24th Street improvements tonight after many, many long years of conflict and lawsuits and stall, and we look forward to completing those. It's a great project. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Councilmember Parlier.
Thank you, Mayor. On 9/11, I was at the Bakersfield Memorial Site, and I got to tell you, it is just an incredible experience to be there every year since this was erected. And I'd make a request to staff that through Visit Bakersfield, that this is included on our information, or any visitors that come to our city would be able to enjoy that too, along with the adjacent museum that's in the fire department. And if that could also be included on our calendar events every year too, it'd be appreciated. Last item, the Sikh Riders of America are having their annual motorcycle ride Saturday, October 13th. And this event supports the Kern River Blue Star Moms, local law enforcement, veterans groups, MAD, and the American Legion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We recently lost one of our former council members, Vernon Strong. He served from 1973 to 1983, and tonight we're going to be adjourning the meeting in his memory, but I'd like to read this certificate that is being presented to his family, to the family of Vernon D. Strong, 1928 to 2018, in memoriam of former council member Strong for his dedicated service in the United States Army during the Korean War and his commitment to our community as a probation officer, real estate broker, president of the Kern County Employees Association, Ward 1 City Council member for over a decade, and Kern County Planning Commissioner, and in tribute of his support, leadership, and devotion to our community and his family. So tonight, we will adjourn this in memory of Vernon Strong. This meeting stands adjourned at 6:08 in his memory.